goes to LinkedIn, everyone can watch it on their phone. They can run through it. Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. Those are some things that I wanted to talk about.
Do a back of the paper analysis tells us that in India, of all the 20 kids that were born in the 1990s, one has become an engineer. Of 20 born, one has become an engineer, while four remained uneducated. So the fact is, like, we're taking up engineering or any stream, so to speak, just because everyone is taking. We don't really ponder upon why we are doing it, or no one questions us to, is it really my thing? I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing engineering, but if you do your engineering, you should you should know why you're doing engineering. Basically, if you like what you're doing, and yeah, the same goes for any other stream, so to speak. Like, it's not that everyone who's taking up science they really like it. It's happening just by random choice or someone suggesting something at some point. So I intend to tackle that part. I want to make people aware of all the opportunities that are there, introspect, and know what all opportunities are there, so that they could at least think of taking up these fields and know how it goes. And hope I have time. Like, someone want to come up? I don't want to take up too much time.
We'll stop you when.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah. So basically, yeah, I've written about that, how to switch from engineering to physics, and that kind of blew up. We have over 2,000 people coming. We have in our community, and we have 15,000 views per month, and every year 15 to 20 people I personally know they would switch from engineering to physics, and many of them wouldn't know that they could make the switch if not for the website. And I intend to do that for a lot more other fields, and we got appreciation from very eminent people. You may have heard of Dr. H.C. Verma. He's quite a popular JE physics author, and he's appreciated our initiatives. And I intend to change the mindset of people that there are very few limited options that are there. In fact, there are a lot of other options which are also financially viable, but people are not even aware of them. Like, not just the two, three other things that you have on mind, and even people. I have friends who have graduated from IIT Bombay in computer science, then have done his masters in business from IIM, and then he quit all that. By then, he would have been getting like 40, 50 lakhs of salary. He quit all that. Now he's doing his master's in physics from IASC, and he would get like 15, 16,000 per month as a stipend. So there's a huge mismatch in what people are choosing and what they actually like to do. So if there is such gap in there, we should try to do something, make people aware of the beginnings. And the name of the initiative is Citizens of Science, and we should have something to show you on screen. But yeah, that's about it. Yes.
How are you doing?
I write a blog, and I have a website where we write it.
What's the website?
Citizens of Science, that's the name of the initiative.
Citizens of Science.
Yeah, Citizens of Science. Yeah.
And who's your target audience?
So initially it started with engineers who are looking to switch to physics and maths, and now we have even bachelor students and all who want to take up masters. Even
So it's already people in college.
uh, even people in 12th, they could to come. They usually, like, if you want to know what are the best colleges for any stream, let's say BSc Physics, the general website that I found, they are ridiculously bad. They wouldn't even mention IAC in their list. That's horrific. That's very bad. So we get the data from the students themselves who are studying in particular colleges across. We have a huge community of people from almost every state. we get the students, we gather information from them, we list out what are all the best colleges in that field, and they share their own experiences of how it went in their colleges and what one could do better to make their experience good.
One,
Yeah, sorry.
one last question. So, for me. So, is this a non-profit or is this a social enterprise or is this a company?
It's a non-profit, not registered yet. Planning to do it, but yeah. Should do
And
so.
what do you do for making money yourself?
Not myself, I'm a teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah.
Where?
I used to work in Maharashtra, lately resigned. I want to start something of my own, but it's for a different story, I guess. Some education.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We'll catch up next. Any other questions?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
today, are you supporting any career options who already switched? Suppose a person did engineering and then did physics or teaching and all that. Like, do you support any career, connecting career options or ending opportunities?
No, we don't.
You're only
Yeah, just how to transition from here to there, and then people themselves, they come together, they ask the questions, they're answered within the community itself. It's on basic social media like Telegram, WhatsApp, and all. Yeah. I just write the static content there. Everything else is follows basically.
Thank you.
Anyone of you is still interested to pitch about your
I would like to pitch my
without presentation?
I have a single slide already, so we can present it. Otherwise, I can
Okay.
Yeah, hi everyone. So the problem we are working is on digital commerce. Like, I will not say it is an e-commerce; it's a digital commerce. So when did this? So anybody tell the answer? Like, when this e-commerce actually started? So it's like in 90s, right? 90s, like we know, like Amazon started 94, but it's a 90s. 90s is almost 3 decades happened to the e-commerce technology. But still, if we observe, the e-commerce technology is tightly within those hardly like 10-15 organizations only. And when it comes to India, the majority, like the selling things or exchanging things on online is less than 7%, and that too, in that 7% also, majority of the portion goes to Amazon and Flipkart only. But today the situations have changed actually. So e-commerce giants are starting brick and mortar people are starting e-commerce like this. So we thought e-commerce technology should be democratized to everyone who is doing business, so especially to the retail businesses, so that they will not compete with the technology, they will compete with the products and the services that are they are selling. So that's why we started this Just Commerce platform. So anybody who is doing business, they can just take this entire technology, pay as you go model, like it's like a cloud infrastructure. Today we are seeing what is cloud doing for the all IT businesses. Similarly, we created this platform so that every business can utilize the technology piece of it. So in that there are 3 engines. One is the commerce engine. Using that, any business can launch their own business or sell on different platforms, so that the sales will increase. So once the commerce is solved, next the analytics part, how the business is doing, internal operations and all. The third is the procurement engine. What to procure, where to procure, and how to procure. So based on the analytics and the insights. So all this technology is today, it's very costly. Like every business don't have that crores of money to build it with hundreds of engineers like Amazon and Flipkart. So we are building it as a common platform so that everybody can use it. So we are already in the pre-revenue stage. So currently we are talking with like this billing softwares. Like today, if we see all the supermarkets, they are all using billing softwares. So we are talking with those billing software selling people, vendors, so that at a time we can target at least 750,000, 1,500 clients like that. So we are into that. So So this is all about my e-commerce platform. So any questions or any inputs or suggestions? Sorry, like if I have that slide, you may get a clear picture, but it's very little difficult to explain.
What are the technologies that you're using?
For React, I mean, one is the JavaScript tech stack that goes, and second is the Java, third is Kotlin and Swift. Kotlin is to develop this iOS engine, sorry, Android and all. Swift is to that iOS apps and React for web. And Java again for Java Spring for backend.
So, what about the payment gateway?
Payment gateway currently we are partnering with Razorpay.
Okay.
So
if there are vendors in the room and each of us wants to start a business, what are the steps that we need to do?
Yeah, like it's simple. Like you need to sign up your business. So then choose your category of business, like supermarket or specifically you're selling fashion items or electronics and all. So then you will get a customized shop for you, like mobile shop or web shop. Then initially we don't charge anything for sign up and all. We have a different models actually. So one model we are collecting, if you sell then only pay us, like that. Like on order we'll collect the money, and so that's how like sign up is very simple. You just provide us the name and your business details and all. Then you can manage your products and product categories and all. So if you're already familiar with this Shopify and all, like where they will provide us the web shops, it will be similar to like that one version of it. But that is not where our focus is. Our focus is India has like each and every corner we have these retail shops. So big supermarkets, small retail outlets and all. So that's where this Jio and Amazon, their focus is right now is how we can connect these all retail outlets in a way. Online shopping is also possible, offline shopping is also possible. So the next 3 decades will be very interesting in e-commerce. So everybody needs, all the physical people needs this digital technology, and the digital giants need this control of these physical spaces. So we are focusing on reaching them first, the supermarkets.
ONDC.
Yeah. The government introduced this ONDC, right? So
when ONDC comes in, are you going to be out of business?
No, at this point of time, if we analyze very clearly, ONDC is just started, and it's very. I think ONDC will be a collaborator for us. Maybe we can be a collaborator with them.
Aggregator, right? So it shows you links to Facebook. It doesn't sell anything.
ONDC is a policy government brings in. It's like a policy. Government also wants to democratize this e-commerce technology. So that's why they created that ONDC policy. People are participating in that. So we can be a tech collaborator in ONDC. So similarly, there is an initiative that is happening, discussions in us also. So if you see each and every startup, somebody says we are a food tech, Swiggy and all of them are the logistic technology startups, delivery tech startups. So they are happening this transaction or a transfer from one place to another place and one person to another person. So the government, another policy also, they launched a logistics policy on Modi's birthday. So there will be a chance we can be collaborators in ONDC in those. But right now we are not. Right now our immediate focus is reaching at least 10,000, like providing this service to at least 10,000 medium-sized supermarkets. The e-commerce technology to the medium-sized supermarkets. Because low and mid, I mean, below that e-commerce won't help the supermarkets. Is my time over?
I think.
Have you started operations?
Operations, yeah, started like like I said, I have another startup. That's not a startup; it's a small business which provides web services like local software. So this company is not registered. I think by end of the November the company will be registered. So before registering company, we want to make at least 3 deals. 3 billing software vendors where they have at least 500 clients with them, like 500 supermarkets with them. So already in talks, we almost reached an agreement stage with one of the Kerala billing software. So they have a 750 supermarkets with them. So we want to collaborate with these billing software guys so that we can get the CAC will be very less. Customer acquisition cost will be almost 0 in that case for us. Where the
So what's the advantage of doing coming to you?
advantage?
I have a business, right? You see, you can plug in, play, right? Almost
Yeah.
like that. So what is the advantage of coming to you?
Advantage for you.
Yeah.
See, for you, like if a business like it is very difficult, like Shopify and all won't fit for a businesses like. And if you want to build on your own the e-commerce engine, it will cost you around 2 lakhs at least, and it will cost you 3 months of time. That's okay. With the technology advancement, starting is not a problem for you people. But if you are a serious player in your business, you want to stay in your business after second year, third year, that's where the problems will come. So after second year, your software won't work, or the software, we cannot maintain the software teams with paying high salaries and all. So these are the all problems we are solving by extracting your tech problems into us. So with me, like with Just Commerce, if you come, you will start almost no money or zero money, and after that also you will pay very less amount as a rent. So it's almost like a cloud business model. So it will not cost you more than 2,500 rupees or 3,000. Right now we don't fix the pricing yet because we don't want to charge at the e-commerce engine. We want to charge at the procurement engine if in case for the supermarkets. So what to procure, how much to procure. The advantages wise time, you will save money, you will save time, you have the advantage over the all. Like if you see the Grofers is coming, like Grofers is there, Blinkit, Jepto. So these are all people competing with the 10 minutes deliveries in Rome. What will happen to these supermarkets if they don't adapt to the technology? Either these Jepto, these all, they will treat them as the dark stores, or these businesses will go away, vanish. So right now our focus is not on the people who wants to start their new businesses, e-commerce. So they can also start with this platform, but aggressively we are targeting on enabling the existing businesses in this business. At least for next 3 to 6 months. Like once we reach this 1,000 supermarkets with us, we have some consistent revenue, and then we will look into the other different markets and revenue sources.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing your ideas with us. Before we begin, good afternoon, everyone. I am grateful to stand here and welcome you all to the Startup Saturday meeting. I am Meghna and I shall walk you through this proceedings of the event. Few rules for effective meeting. Please put your phones on silent. Avoid stepping in and out when the speaker is speaking. Avoid bringing refreshments into the auditorium. And no crosstalks in between the meeting. You can ask any questions after he speaks or he or she, the speaker, finishes the meeting. So now to the agenda. First, we'll have a speaker of the day, Bhargav Dugirala. Then we'll have a couple of minutes for Q&A session. Then we'll have a 10 minutes break. Next, we'll have a startup pitch by Lokesh of Rural Health Link, followed by a Q&A session. Then a session with Dr. Suresh Behta from STPL. Then we'll have a closing on session. Firstly, I would like to thank Andhra University Incubation, AHUB, and Gramina Incubation for organizing the Startup Saturday meeting for the benefit of the young entrepreneurs, where the primary mandate is to inspire, encourage, and support the students with new ideas. This meeting is not only to educate and guide us, but also move through a further variety of things. I would like to introduce the energetic and charming Bhargav Dugirala. Bhargav Dugirala currently works in the growth team at ChargeBee, a subscription billing and a revenue management product for a fast-growing Saas companies. His current role at ChargeBee is to manage and build global startup accelerator and VC partnerships and for serving growth and experiments for early-stage startup customers acquisition. He is also a regional chair for Innovation Southern Region and past chapter chair at CII Young Indians. His past experiences includes managing startups programs at industry bodies like NASCOM, project management, Essentials, and multiple roles at early startup stage startups. Bhargav is going to speak about SaaS, idea generations, automations, and tools for startup and growth. Please join me in introducing him to the stage.
Just one time, just in time.
So
When you take the mic,
yeah,
there were people sitting in the back.
yeah, that's what is adding pressure.
Hello. So thank you for that introduction, and thank you to Mr. Srinivas for inviting me over today. And so glad to have people here. I think how many ever people are there. I hope that whatever I speak about is useful. And what I try to do is, when Danesh asked me for a topic, I couldn't think of a topic, so I gave a list of things, right? So I thought by the end of the day, I can pick one and talk about it over here. And so there's no one way that I could really, like, if I have to be honest, there's no one way that I can add value to everybody sitting over here, right? Because each one is doing different things, which is why I thought I will share a couple of approaches, how and where to look for things, and some examples from my personal experience, right? And then that gives you the starting point to start thinking about it for your own venture or for your own personal or professional. So, change slides. Yeah, so just about me, I put a couple of logos over there. So I currently work at ChargeBee. Just like she introduced, I'm in the growth team at ChargeBee. ChargeBee is a very fast-growing SaaS company that serves SaaS companies, right? SaaS is software as a service. So if you see any of these subscription billing models that you pay for, right, like Netflix and all these companies, they have a subscription and recurring billing model. So if you are a business that has that model, you can plug and play into ChargeBee and run a lot of things on autopilot. Just to give a very high level overview, right? And I'm in the ChargeBee for Startups team. So my role is to go and build global startup accelerator and VC partnerships. So I go partner with venture capitalists and VCs globally, predominantly the US region. So if you're a VC and if you have 50 companies in your portfolio, when I partner with you, it opens doors for me to, kind of give ChargeBee for free to your portfolio companies in the initial days, and they become future paying customers, right? So if any of you are familiar with the incubator or accelerator model, you get AWS credits when you join it and all that. So AWS was kind of the pioneer for this startup program. And today, almost every large software tech company has an X for Startups program, right? Zendesk for startups, Freshworks for startups, ChargeBee for startups, same way. So I'm a member of Young Indians also. I'm wearing that T-shirt today because I have it. And so I was the past chapter chair for Young Indians, and also the current regional chair for innovation. So I leveled up in YI, and so currently covering the southern region. So chapters like Bangalore and Kochi, so 4 regions like Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, and Andhra. Tamil Nadu itself is a separate region because there's so many chapters in YI. So I work with NASCOM Center of Excellence for IoT and AI, NASCOM 10,000 startups, and Accenture also. And there were a lot of logos that I didn't put here, a lot of things that I started which didn't continue, a lot of failed experiments, or like, working with my father in the family business. So there are lots of things that didn't go in here. But, they added a lot of perspective, right? So yeah, so I wanted to start with this simple, I put a mirror there as a reflection, right, as an icon. So most of the things that I will share today are very simple, and they appear to be very like common sense, right? But I came across this thing that it could appear like common sense, but we should stop and ask ourselves: is it common practice, right? So when you see, and if it's simple, it's easier to implement. So I actually paid like $500 for a virtual workshop, and he says, you know what? In this workshop, I'm going to talk to you about very simple things. But people, if they pay a lot of money, they want to hear a lot of complex jargon, right? It gives them the satisfaction that they learned something crazy, something new, but they will not be able to go back and implement any of those. So something that's simple is, easier to implement. So, that's the idea behind. So yeah, so 4 things in a startup journey, uh, broad broad classifications, right? So ideation, build, launch, and scale. So all of us are coming up with great ideas all the time. Next step is to build it, and where you launch, how you launch is the question. And then once you launch and you're finding some traction, taking it to the next level and scaling up is the thing, right? So you can't jump from 1 to 4, or like 2 to 4, or like just start with 2. Any of these things. doesn't make sense anyway to do that. But most of the time we think from idea, we can talk about scale. Like, we give a lot of large examples when we just have an idea who our competition is, who our market is, and all. So we should really understand their journey and what it takes to kind of go step by step to that level, right? Like it would have taken ChargeBee to 10 years to become a unicorn. So the common cliched saying about took me 7 years to be an overnight success and all that. So I think that's very important for early stage startups to understand. In my experience in working with a lot of early stage startups, right? So I have been an observer on the outside, and I have tried my hand at a couple of ventures as well. So I will. So since we won't have too much time, I wanted to pick more on ideation. That's my most favorite topic always, and I'm known to be the guy who comes up with new ideas for things. So yeah. So I want to start with this simple thing of idea generation and RAS, right? What does RAS stand for? Anybody knows? Random guess. So RAS stands for reticular activation system. Anybody knows what reticular activation system is? Sir? So yeah, okay, I'll go to that, right? So reticular activation system, you can go back and Google it, is your brain's filtering mechanism, right? So today, if I want to buy a Creta, suddenly when I go onto the road, I start noticing a lot of Cretas on the road, right? Is it because there are more Cretas on the road from that day that I decided to buy a Creta? No, right? It's just that your brain is now noticing that. So same way, when you're looking for, an opportunity, you'll see opportunities everywhere. When you look for problems, complaints, you'll see all those around you, right? So a simple example, I don't know how many of you know Tony Robbins, right? He's a motivational speaker and all that stuff. So he gave a demonstration in a room like this, right? He said for 30 seconds or 1 minute, observe all the things in the room that are yellow, right? And I won't make you go through it right now, but he said, observe all the things that are yellow in the room, and then close your eyes. And then he asked them, tell me what were brown in the room, right? And nobody could think of it. So his point was, your yellows could be your complaints, and brown could be your opportunities. While you're so focused on the yellow, you're missing out all your opportunities, right? So that was his point. So I think I just wanted to be very abstract and then go down into each of these things, right? Like how do we approach this? So one takeaway from this slide is that where is our reticular activation system, right? Today, if I want to make $1 million in 2023, I might be looking at all the ideas that are coming up, or some tool that gives me an idea, or some people, resources and people just walk into your life magically because your brain is focusing on that, right? So simple. There are so many books like Cracking Creativity, Thinker Toys, and I have read through most of them, right, on different frameworks for idea generation and all that. Sometimes frameworks give you brilliant structure and thinking with constraints and all that. But I thought the simplest thing, right? What can we start with I read this in James Altucher's book. He says, idea generation is like a muscle. You need to exercise it, right? So he says start off with a simple practice of generating 10 ideas per day and probably do it for 30 days, right? So that's 300 ideas. And I'm not talking about business ideas. So that's only the first question. If you see, I started with 10 ideas, 10 questions for today's talk, right? That I can add to give you as an example. So business is only one. What business can I start? Can you list down 10 things? How can I be more productive? Can you list down 10 things? Which new channels can I explore to find new customers, which I haven't explored earlier? 10 new ways. How can I make $1 million in 2023? I just spoke about that question, right? The moment you write that question down, you're suddenly noticing the browns, right? The opportunities and people and who will guide you there. So same way, yeah, multiple questions, right? The point over here he was trying to make is most of the times we are not aware that the top, when you start this exercise, right, initially, the first 3, 4, 5 ideas are very easy to write down because those are the dominant thoughts in your mind and what you see in your immediate environment. Same ideas are circulating when you're talking to similar people and, what you see every day in your daily path of work and all that. So whatever is your dominant thought idea in your mind, and in your immediate environment something is there, you write down those in the first 3, 4, 5 ideas, and suddenly you realize you ran out of ideas, right? Then the sixth and the seventh and the eighth and the ninth ideas are a stretch. That's when your mind is stretching. So every day you're practicing to stretch your mind, right? And come up. That's when the seventh idea and the eighth idea will be novel combinations. You start looking at something else and something else over here and try to, make that an idea, right? And that's how you will start practicing your, idea generation. Start strengthening your idea generation muscle, and it has helped me a lot. So sometimes what happens is when you do it for 30 days, right? The third idea on the first day, and maybe the 77th idea on the seventh day, together could be a game-changing idea, right? Or your next venture. So quality always comes from quantity, they say, right? If you want 3 best ideas for something, you cannot come up with 3 best ideas with just those 3 best ideas. Most of the people generate 100 ideas and then start. They say diverge first and then converge. Like stop at one point and then converge. So shortlist the best ideas. So out of quantity comes quality, right? So this is a very simple exercise, and I think 30 days, if you guys do it, on the 31st day, you will be a very different person, right? Same event will be in front of you. The way you look at coming up with a solution will change. These are basics. These are fundamentals. And when we stop and take a step back at looking at fundamentals, you can make a big shift, right? They give you an example of a golf course where if I'm standing here and if I make an inch difference over here and an inch difference over there, it can go in a completely different direction. So if we take a step back and work on our fundamentals, I think a big change can come. I want to do a quick activity. I think we won't have to go through the entire activity, but if you can keep shouting out anything that comes to your mind, right? So you see a brick over there. What are all the things that you can do with a brick, which apart from the regular use of it, right? Like construction, like you use bricks to make walls, right? Apart from that, what can you think of?
Stove, cooking equipment.
Cooking, yeah.
You can use it to throw it at the speaker.
Weapon, yes.
Stove.
It can be a paperweight. Fantastic, yeah. Kill someone, weapon, yeah. Same, yeah. No bad ideas.
Vehicle stopper, right?
Vehicle stopper, fantastic.
Pillow.
Pillow, that's a bad pillow, but a pillow. Anything else? Huh? Door stopper, vehicle stopper, yeah, pretty much. Yes, height elevator, maybe we can call it. Exercise, dumbbell, yes, perfect. So, any more?
This object of being just an object in the house. Beauty object.
Beauty of, okay, decoration, home decor.
Use it as a crayon to draw on a wall.
Amazing. I think I don't have to do the activity. The ideas are already coming. Right? So, the reason I wanted to talk about this is like to introduce a key idea called dots versus frames. Right? And I made note of it so that I don't miss out on any key point that I can tell you. So, we've done this exercise quickly, right? Normally, I would request people to just take out a pen and paper and write down their ideas so that they can see the difference before and after. Right? So think of like some round objects, like a ball. Right? What can you think of? Like any more? Great. That's the dominant thought. So, ball, yeah.
Chocolate.
Yeah, pani puri.
Pani puri.
Blue planets.
amazing. Yeah,
Apple,
fruit, ice cream scoop, great. Yeah, I'll come to that point next. That's actually you're making the case for me. This usually happens, and thanks that she's doing it, right? Scoop, ice cream scoop, gulab jamun. So she gave that.
That thing on Kailas.
Doppler radar.
Yeah. So the point here is, we spoke about some dots here, right? These ideas are dots, but now we will think about frames that will help you. So if we list out all, if we count the number of ideas that we got, would have been less than 10, right? But if I give you 1 minute, and if I asked you to think about it like this, you would have come up with less than 10 ideas in a minute. I tried the same exercise, and then actually I kind of led you with saying a ball, right? And that kind of then he kind of strayed and said planets. So whenever you have to start with ideas, think about frames and not dots, because these will be less than 10 ideas. If you start listing out frames, for example, he said planets. When I'm asking you in 1 minute, how many round objects can you think of? The moment he listed a frame planet, in the planet it can be Earth, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Neptune, and all these things, right? Suddenly, under that one frame, you have 20 ideas already, right? The next frame can be food. The moment you put a food frame, gulab jamun, scoop, this, that, and all that, you get off 10 ideas again, 20 ideas. And what else could be a thing? Another frame. Wheels, ball. So football, cricket ball, tennis ball, all sorts of things. So you listed so many, right? So now imagine how many dots are coming in 1 minute. If you listed out, if you took out first 10, 20 seconds to list out like 4 or 5 frames, in the remaining, 40, 50 seconds, you could have come up with 60, 70 dots. So what it does is 3 things, right? Quantity. Frames are idea multipliers. Like, instead of 5, 6 ideas, you're able to generate 50, 60 ideas now because of the frames. Second thing is diversity. Every frame opens up a new door, right? Different dots, like a tennis ball from here and a globe from somewhere can give you a different idea, right? Which you wouldn't have normally opened up to, generally. And the last one is, the same thing that I said, multiple frames make it possible to connect completely different ideas, right? Which are your dots. So I read this quote over here that everyone can spot obvious connections and therefore come up with similar ideas. Creative people train themselves to make the most unlikely connections. And this is an example. I saw an interview of Elon Musk's first wife, and the interviewer asked her about what's special about Elon Musk. So she says his ability to connect like completely disparate things, right? Like the things that we couldn't think of. And that's the best thing about Elon Musk, right? She says, according to her observation. So, if you are in the logistics industry, customer service is probably the last thing that they give preference to or like priority to. But if you're in a hospitality industry or the airline industry, say when you walk into a 5-star or a 7-star hotel, hospitality is a norm, right? Like a very basic thing there. And in the airline industry, people greet you well, they treat you well. Imagine something that's a norm in one industry, when you pick it and take it to an industry that does not have it at all, it could be a game changer. So the ability to connect like disparate things, right? That's what she talks about Steve Jobs. About Elon Musk. So ideas baseline, this is something that I really always reflect upon, right? So if your baseline is here today, because of the people that we talk to, circulate the environment group that we circulate with and all that, if our ideas baseline is here today, your mental diet, not just our physical diet is for our food, right? Our mental diet gives us the next level of our thinking also. So inputs lead to outputs, right? So very simple things. So then I thought if you have to get better outputs, we have to go back and revisit our inputs and improve our inputs, right? So if I have a friend and I'm just going around with a group of friends whose talking about regular stuff, movies, and going out here, partying, and all these things. And there's somebody else who's reading how Elon Musk is thinking, how Richard Branson is thinking, connecting with vendors who built 10, $20 million businesses, right? So when a same situation comes in front of us, my idea baseline is low and his idea baseline is higher, right? He's improved it. He's leveled up by working on a certain set of things, right? They say if you watch news, that's probably the worst thing that you can do to yourself. And I don't watch the news at all. And when I heard the idea first that, oh, maybe I need to know what's happening, right? Then I slowly realized that I don't need to. And most people say that there is an objection when they do that. Because there's a lot of negative stuff that keeps happening. It's okay. If something needs to reach you, it will reach you anyway, right? But if you're constantly exposing yourself to that, your idea baseline keeps changing up and down. So, yeah, this is my own concept. I didn't pick it from anywhere. Yeah. So since I wanted to talk about automation, right? I can't really cover because everybody does different things. I can't cover how can you automate things. But this is one of my LinkedIn posts that I made recently. Today I took the screenshot, so it was 2 weeks ago. And
too expensive.
sorry,
It's too expensive.
to
Expensive.
to do what?
That using that tool.
Which one?
Oh, sorry.
There is no tool here.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I said, a lot of my colleagues and the peers in my industry who are working on startup programs everywhere, right? They keep asking me, hey, dude, how are you automating all these things? How are you, coming up with all these ideas, finding all these tools to do these things better, right? Then I also thought about it, like, what am I actually doing? Then I stopped and I thought about it. And that's why I wrote this also. That's like a simple practice that I'm doing. Anything that I do on a recurring basis, right? And I find it boring or irritating, I just go on Google and type, how do I automate XYZ? It's as simple as that. I can't tell you how to automate anything and everything, but it's as simple as that. Whenever I'm faced with a challenge, the moment I went in, just Googled, how do I automate XYZ, right? And I always found the solution. I said, highly likely that you'll find a Saas tool that will help you automate it or some hack, right? And I'll show you some examples of my regular work that I put 90% of my regular work on autopilot right now so that I get time to do new things, right? So I was like, how about listing 3 tasks that you do on a regular basis and figuring out ways to automate it? Does this make sense? Yeah. Has someone thought about automation this way? It's just an approach, right? I can't give you gyan about automation and take you through one boring process of automating something. I don't think it makes sense to everybody, right? And that's why I wanted to talk about the fundamentals. So I just want to take you through 4 examples of mine, which I'm using, right? And that covers the growth tools or whatever. A simple tool is called Motion. It's a Y Combinator startup. I don't know how many of you are aware of Y Combinator. Right? Great. Y Combinator is the most highly revered startup program in the accelerator program in the world that every startup wants to get into. It's like the Harvard and Stanford for startup acceleration, right? So this is a YC startup. Use Motion, and I'll tell you what I do with it. So I just took a screenshot, which is like a plugin on the side for me on my Google Chrome browser. And anytime somebody tells me something, right, like Mr. Srinivas reached out to me and said, hey, if you want to speak over here, can you do this on this day? So for that, what do I need to do? I had to make this presentation, right? So I immediately clicked on Motion, which is lying on the side on the browser. And I just typed the task name, make presentation for Startup Saturday. And then I put the duration to it. I immediately prioritize it. Are you able to see this? ASAP, high, medium, low, hard deadline, soft deadline, no deadline. Next. And then I can choose my soft deadline or hard deadline. And I just quickly do a schedule enter. Command enter. World is exploding. This also takes me to an example of how SaaS world is exploding. It's running like a parallel universe so fast, right? Like anything that you think of, there is a SaaS tool that replaces people, right? And so being a 1 person or a 2 person company, if you know the right SaaS tool to use, you can do the work of 100 people company. And the best part about SaaS is it's software only, right? The moment you have offline operations, scaling up is hard. So I'll come to the rest of the things later about building SaaS. Am I on time or is there time? How much time? do I have? So this is one tool that I use, okay? Browse AI.
Can you wrap up in 5 minutes and then QA?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I have 3 more slides.
21. Never mind.
Yeah.
He's going to finish. It's
So-
Bhargav.
So yeah, next tool is Browse AI. This is a pretty cool tool for me because what I do is it's a very specific example to me, but it could help one of you or may not at all also. But I'm just giving you an example of what I did, right? I wanted to pull up, say, Y Combinator. I go partner with Y Combinator. Y Combinator has, say, 3,000 companies, portfolio companies. And I want to reach them and tell them, hey, I have a partnership with Y Combinator. You will get these startup credits as a partner, this thing, because they may not notice it in all the deals dashboard that they have, right? And I wanted to put ChargeBee in front of them. So what I did is I went to their website. The normal way I started doing it is I started copying the names of all these companies into a Google Sheet, right? And then I went and found their email addresses and all that, and then I would put it in an email too. But I realized email conversions were not that great. I wanted to reach out to them on LinkedIn, so I was manually sending out LinkedIn invites to all of them. Then I googled how do I automate picking. Of course, web scrapers are very easy to build. Everybody builds it, right? But the best part about Browse AI is it's a no-code tool, and it integrates with multiple tools, right? So it's a very simple no-code way for me to log in, and I just go to a website, I record it, I give names to it, and it just puts things into a Google Sheet for me like that, right? I got the list of all Y Combinator companies in less than 2 minutes, and then I have to do LinkedIn outreach to them, right? This where a tool like Dripify. Then I checked, I googled again, how do I automate my LinkedIn outreach to people? Usually we think of LinkedIn InMail. InMail is the equivalent of a spam email. Nobody likes to open it, nobody likes to respond to it, right? But if I send out a personalized connection request to Mr. Srinivas saying that, hi Srinivas, I noticed that you're doing so and so. We'd love to partner with you to do XYZ, right? It's a very personalized. Good to see what you're doing at X company, Alco. So today you have mail personalization softwares, right? You can use MailChimp and HubSpot and all that to send out emails like this. But for LinkedIn, Dripify helps you do that. So what I do is when I pull out all the list of the people I have to reach out to, and I put them on a sequence like this on LinkedIn. So normally I was doing it manually. Today while I'm here, but Saturday it does not run in the backend. But if I was here on a Friday, I'd be standing here and talking, but the tool is doing the work for me, reaching out to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 startup founders every day, right? So these are just some examples. QA Pop, I think a great place to start. Most of their startups find their first few customers on Quora, because if somebody has a problem, they're going and posting about it, right? So everything starts with, Paul Graham of Y Combinator says, like, do things that don't scale first. And most of you must have heard of it, right? So I start with doing it manually, then I realize it's becoming hard. Now, how can I automate it? Next step, right? First, do it manually so that you know the steps, and then you can automate it. So I started going and looking for questions related to SaaS startups, SaaS pricing, and all that. And I thought, okay, well, have somebody from my team answer those questions. Then it became very hard to do it at scale. So then we thought, how can we do it at scale? Enters the tool. We either hire another person into our team or get a tool. Right? I googled it. I got QA Pop. It's just unbelievable how people are coming up with tools and SaaS products. Anything that you can imagine, there's already a tool to automate it, right? And if it's not there, it's an opportunity to build it. So QA Pop, 3 steps. The moment I give in a topic, it says what are some of the best questions around that, right? Second, it's using GPT-3. Most of you must be knowing tools like copy.ai and all that, which are helping you auto-generate copy and all that stuff, using AI to generate your copy and content and all that. So it drafts an AI response for that answer automatically. And the third thing it tells you is, what are some of the questions that are getting high views but no one's answered them. So you get an unfair advantage, right? So when you are the value provider for that domain, if I'm in the travels industry, and if I go and look at all the travel related questions people are asking, that kind of gives me what to answer over there, right? At the moment you answer that, organically you're getting a lot of customers. Yeah, it comes, this is the last slide that I have. And some of I have like 10,000 resources I would like to share, but it is a hard thing to do because I wanted to talk more about ideas and generally how you approach things, right? These are like my top 4 resources I would suggest to people. Couple of things that I picked up in our talk today are from this book called Ideas on Demand. It's by an Indian author, I forgot the name now. You can check it out. I've read so many books like I told you, Cracking Creativity, Thinking, Thinker Toys, and a lot of these things. They just overwhelm you with too many frameworks and too many approaches to do things, right? So it was very overwhelming. That's why this book was the best. Very simple, very easy to read, and you get excited by the end of the book, right? Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Naval Ravikant is like treated like God in Silicon Valley, and anything and everything that he says is very deep. Most people believe that. And I read his book. It has 2 parts called, the first part is about wealth creation and the second part is about happiness. And just both parts are fantastic, right? Like if you're able to really sit and internalize and let that sink in, I think it could be life changing. Magic of Thinking Big is another book that kind of completely changed my perspective and helped me start leveling up my thinking, right? Highly recommend reading this book. Product Hunt. I'm always on Product Hunt every day. Instead of scrolling on Instagram for some time, I scroll on Product Hunt, right? Again, like I told you, better inputs give you better outputs, right? Some fantastic tools that people build. It is so exciting to see what's happening over there. That every day, maybe just schedule 10 minutes of your day, scroll through Product Hunt, right? You see what are all the tools that people are building. It won't happen on the second day or the third day, but maybe on the 35th day or the 42nd day, you suddenly come up with an idea, right? Looking at all this, because you're letting this soak in, and that's when you come up with. Yeah, that's it. Same slide from earlier, but with a thank you. So was it simple and was it common sense, right? But again, is it common practice is a question that we need to ask ourselves. That's it. Thank you. If you have any questions, if I have an answer, I'll give you. Otherwise, I'll say I don't know.
Can you define SaaS?
SaaS, like I told you, SaaS stands for Software as a Service, right? Back in the day, Microsoft and all that companies like Microsoft would sell big licenses. If you're a buyer of Microsoft's Office Suite or something like that, you had to pay a big licensing fee upfront to get access to their software. Not like us personal users who will find the cracked version of it and use it for free and all that, because we don't realize the importance of it. If you're running an organization, you have to have that software licensing impact analysis is there in all these companies, right? So people had to pay large upfront fees, and from there the model shifted, right? Salesforce was the first one, a pioneer in this industry to, pioneer of SaaS model. They kind of shifted things. Instead of buying a house, right, you pay rent. So it eases the thing, right? Instead of paying 2 crores today, I'm like, it's okay to pay 20,000 rent. That's what SaaS is, right? You get a software as a service. So that, you can keep scaling up. Now it's much more convenient for companies where I have 5 people, I buy 5 seats at $5 each, $25 a month. When I become 100, I pay 100 into 5, $500 a month. Pay-per-use model, usage-based pricing, value-based pricing. There's so many models like that.
I think a car would be a better example than a house.
EMIs.
No. In the sense that every year you can change a new model. A house, you generally don't change.
Exactly. House also we can change, but I think that makes more sense, right? You can sell and you can lease a car, If you don't like it in 6 months, you can switch to another tool. I showed you Dripify, right? I started LinkedIn automation with Dripify. After 3 months, I didn't like it. I found a better tool called Closely. So I didn't invest like, 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs on a software. Now I'm stuck with it. I for that month and I moved to Closely HQ.
Is it possible to retrieve mobile numbers from email IDs?
I have no idea. No clue. But we can Google it. Right? I always do that. Like somebody asks me a question, it triggers my curiosity. I go back and Google it and I find a way to do it. Right? But I honestly don't know the answer to that.
So basically Google for learning about other things, you're saying RAS or something, but they usually don't do about software.
Yeah.
That's something you need to start doing with a lot
Yeah.
of things.
So today this got activated, right? Today you started thinking about it from a software perspective, and they say the best ideas come when you have a diverse, this thing. Like, if you are somebody who's in finance, read about arts, read about marketing, read about design, read about a lot of things. That's when you can bring the best ideas from another place to here.
Also, like you're into this growth marketing and all. So you're already doing the heavy lift and shift job, like figuring out automation tools and all. So is it possible for you to say that as a complete, so that we as an early startups, we don't want and we can't also invest in growth and marketing. So we can use that as a framework.
So good question. Actually, I thought about this, but I thought it would take too much time. But like I gave you an example of what ChargeBee for Startups team does, right? I go and partner with VCs and accelerators, and we give free credits to people, right? If somebody goes to ChargeBee's website directly, they get access to our launch plan, $99 per month plan, most basic bare bones plan for free until their first 100K in revenue. That's a very basic freemium plan that we have. You can't do much with it. Very basic features. But when I go partner with a VC or an accelerator and you come through that, we give you a $299 price plan for free until $1 million in revenue. You don't have to think about paying for ChargeBee. Only after you hit $1 million in revenue, you pay for ChargeBee. The reason I gave it this example is every tool has these kind of offers, right? If you're an early stage startup, you can actually, sometimes they put it up on their website about their startup program. Sometimes you can just write a mail to them saying that, hey, I'm an early stage startup, I want to give this a try. Are there some credits you can extend, or is there a coupon? So I think that's a hack for most startups. So yeah, and there are resources, right? Like there are much better people than me who've written about growth, startup growth, and all. Demand Curve is one amazing place where you can find growth. So I follow these kind of things.
The reason we ask is like we just want to move from point A to B, not for the jet actually. But when we look ourselves from these tools and all, like, we get a overall like one tool I got 4 options. By evaluating those 4 tools, like is who is already exposed into particularly the tool, if they serve what you need like so like,
But you have to find your own thing, right? So,
listening to him, he's already into the tool.
So your requirement is different from Bhargav's requirement. So what are your requirements is what you basically saying is try Google and try a few things which is there.
So when you read about the tools, it's overwhelming. But when you try it, it's not. Right? So when I finally finalized Dripify to use, right? What I did was I tried Octopus CRM, I tried LinkedIn Helper. I went on and used all the trial versions of all of them. I like Dripify the best. I used it. But if I was reading about it, pros and cons, reviews and all that, it overwhelms me. Right? So when I go and try it, it's different. Like, it's different to read about swimming and like actually diving into the pool and swimming to get that experience, right? So yeah.
And one more small point to that, I think to help him and others, STPI, Gramina Incubation Center, all of them, as far as I know, the plan is to put something together for startups that are being incubated in Visakhapatnam to kind of give the AWS credits, the ChargeBee credits, and so on. So being a part of that, the environment here would probably be of good use to you, or could be quite useful to you.
A lot of startups used to become a part of NASSCOM 10,000 Startups program because there's a huge, exhaustive startup kit. You get credits to tons of startup tools, right? And people just join for that also sometimes. Because everybody is going to NASSCOM, 10,000 startups, like every tool, because they think that they'll find a lot of startups once they partner with 10,000 startups, right? So that's like the node.
Yeah.
The technology service providers are coming, and also this thing, the users are also here, finding it on one platform. And same is the case with STPI, with AHUB, and every place, people. In fact, that's one thought I want to leave everyone with, right? Instead of thinking of very big things to solve, what's the simplest problem that you can solve around you, right? And this, the reason I'm saying this is because it came across in an AU talk earlier, where one student asked me something about building a very complex, very like some big medical device which will grab a virus and all that stuff. It went over my head. The idea went over my head. I didn't understand anything. So I told him, like, from my past experience, there are two ways to do it. One, you're trying to play level 10 of the game directly, right? And then you might try a couple of things, it doesn't work, and then you start pointing fingers outside. Government is not doing this, or no investors in Vizag, ecosystem is bad. You start pointing fingers outside, right? Instead, I told him that two ways. One is, what's the simplest problem around you that you can solve? Use Airtable or use small tools, stitch a solution together, curate it, right? Or build a small community of, say, problem solvers over here. Anything. Start with the most simplest thing, then play level 2, level 3, level 4, and then you can reach your level 10 idea. Or if you're really obsessed about that idea, go out there and be an apprentice under somebody, right? 3 years, 5 years, work in that industry. You will understand the ecosystem, the market dynamics, who are all the stakeholders. You will build relationships with them, and then jump into that idea, right? So most of the times the problem is we want to go from 0 to 100 directly. So yeah, so that's how I started. I noticed that every accelerator, every VC that I reach out to, they still want to add more tool deals to their, this thing. For example, if STPI today has 10 tools that they give offers to, right? They still want their startups to get access to 100 tools, right? So somebody at STPI has to sit and work on building all those partnerships for 100. Somebody at NASCOM, 10,000 startups or COE should sit and again build all this 100 things, right? So instead, I thought I built something called a small tool called Micro VC Stack. Okay, when I'm reaching out to micro VCs, because they are the stakeholders I work with, I want to solve a simple problem for them. Then they like me better. My relationship with them gets better. I build great rapport that tomorrow when I ask something for ChargeBee also, they'll give me. So what I did is, everybody, instead of everybody doing the same work, let me spend 1 or 2 months in gathering and curating all the deals, right? And then my first conversation, if you're a VC, hey, I built this micro VC stack, it has 100 tools and all the POCs of all the people who run this startup programs at all these companies, right? And the deal that they offer. They're like, thank you so much, Bhargav, this is lovely. I do not have to spend hours and months to look for these tools, right? And that built great rapport for me. So very simple solution using Airtable. I just, like an Excel sheet, I just put everything together. So think of these simple problems, you level up level 1, level 2 and all. Yeah, I think I'm taking too much time. So if you have any questions, we'll step aside and have an offline conversation. Thank you everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. And thanks, Danesh, for coordinating beautifully.
Thank you, Bhargav, for your wonderful speech. Everyone, please scan this QR and register for this session.
Not only this session, the coming
For the
session
upcoming
also. So covering all the sessions, we will directly post into your mail. This link. I'm also sharing this link into the WhatsApp group. You can also add it to our WhatsApp Startup Saturdays group if you are interested.
So we'll have a 10 minutes refreshment. Everyone can go out, have refreshment, networking, and then get back in 10 minutes. We'll continue the session.
Continue and then
He only needs 10 minutes, 5 minutes question and answer. So let's. Hello?
Now we'd like to introduce a startup pitch of the day, Lokesh Komina, Marketing and Operations Manager, India. A little briefing about their startup. Wow is an audio visual app based on the services, provide a safe platform for women everywhere to anonymously ask questions, concerns about their health and well-being. An easy use to symptom checker feature helps women to access information about their regional language. Like Wow Period Tracker provides an opportunity for women to take charge on their menstrual cycle. So now let's introduce or welcome Lokesh to come and pitch about the startup Wow.
Yeah, good evening, all of you. So I'm Lokesh. So I'm from WoW, as I introduced. Like I'm the marketing and also like operational manager for the team. So let me brief about WoW. So what WoW is? Like I already mentioned, like WoW is an audio visual app. So it is a like safe platform for the women. So wherever they are in, so whether they are in rural or they are in urban, like any of the women, so they can ask their questions from their like personal thing, like gynecological thing, like any kind of their health issues. So they can talk to us like through our app actually. So it has a mic button. So from there actually they can ask any kind of questions and they can get their answers actually from the in a professional way. So that sense, like, so we have a tie-up with all the doctors here, so in the local parts. So we have their like collaboration with the doctors and other some health teams in like three languages we have. So as of now, we are covering Telugu, English, and Hindi. So WOW has a period tracker. So like it gives the charge of the menstrual cycle for every woman actually. So we have a like month-on-month tracking system. So and also it is an easy to use symptom checker. So like everyone has a part, like it is completely like related to the women. So they have like many problems which they can share. They cannot share with anyone actually. So but they can share with us like in a proper way and also in a secure way. So we have a call to doctor option, so which they can call doctor immediately and they can take their service from the doctors. So let me brief about this app like step by step. So this is the starting screen which we have. So we have this language section like Telugu, English, and Hindi. So here you can see like this is the starting screen. So health and period. So in the first session, like let me talk about period tracker. So how they can use it. So it is like month on month they can switch and like there's a blood flow. So how they are getting it. So whether they're getting light or hard, like any bits of like any kind of flow, they can enter it. So when the period term is shorter, so we are building this AI in it. So it will automatically tell the people. So whether like this period time is short, so let's just get a checkup with the doctors. So if it gets longer, so even that time also we'll send a notification that they can check with the doctor. So that is how they can take charge of their health actually, and also like menstrual flow. And then we have symptom checker in the next screen, symptom checker and also Q&A, question and answers. So in there actually they can get every question whatever they have. And the symptom checker is the very best tool, so they can check their symptoms in what part they are having the problem. So this is the third screen. So we have periods and pre-periods. So pre-periods is like younger and also like periods is for elder. So we have mental health for especially for the children. So they can search there like whatever they are facing the issues. And this is a body queen, like a mannequin figure of the woman. So where they can select the part. So whether like in what area they are having this problem. So every part when they click that one, so we just summarize all the symptoms whatever that they come across. So we already kept around some 80 symptoms. So which we kept already preloaded doctor's video. So this is how they get the video, doctor's video, and like symptoms, like whatever they're having it. Since we are in Andhra, so I'm just showing it in Telugu. So like English and Hindi also we have this in the same pattern. So like we have doctors content here, so preloaded around like 3 minutes. So by this way they can eliminate the time to for the travel and also their money, and also it is very like free of cost. They can use it for free. And then in the last, in the blue section, like if they click that one, so they will get this mic option. So in this mic option, they can tell all the concerns they have. Like if the symptom is not addressed properly to them, so they can address the symptom like whatever they are facing. So we will get the answers from we will get the questions from them. Then we will try to sort out with the doctors, and we will send back to the person like who sent that one. So the main thing which we are doing with this app is like security and privacy of the women. So we are not taking any of their credentials, their names and their numbers, and nothing we are taking. We're going to take from them. So anonymously they can use this app, and they can use the all the services. They can ask the questions, and we will just get the server data, and also like we will send back the response in a customized video format, and again to the same server. So these are the benefits of what we are doing. So we are doing collaborations with the colleges. So we already have a tie-up with Andhra University, and we made an AU, like MOU with the AU. And also with the course, we are launching a course very pretty soon. So and also we are just by doing this, we are just stigmatizing. So that means like conversation around the women's health in the campus. So like people are not that much aware of things what they are getting in. So they are not ready to get their access of information. So in the India actually, like we are not giving that much information like straight away. So whenever they are having a problem, they need to call a doctor or they need to visit a doctor. So that is taking longer time actually. So we are just eliminating all these things, and we are giving this data for free. And there are some other things which we are doing it like it is private and safe and secured. So that way I can say like they don't need to give any credentials in the downloading of our app. So then it is coming like it is very soon we are launching it. So period like pregnancy calendar. So these are like the semesters which we are working on it. So it's already done with the two trimesters, and last one is on working condition. So like 35 to 42 weeks has to be in pending session. So once we complete this, so we are very soon we are launching the same option in the same periods and pre-periods and then pregnancy. So in this pregnancy thing, so we are launching three options, whether they want to get a pregnant, like what needs to be done, and what are the nutrition facts, what they have to take, and the baby is in which week. So by week we are launching this nutrition and health of the baby. So this is a collaboration with AU. So we just launched our poster with Vice Chancellor sir, and also we just done with the Ravi sir and Rajesh sir actually. So we did already MOA with them. So these are the founders, Sushma Kalam. So we are the C Corp organization from US actually. So they stay in Seattle. So in India, so I am managing this all the app actually, and content and marketing. So we have content like medical team providers from Vishakhapatnam. So Dr. Rajni Garu, she works as a gynecologist in Lazarus Hospital, and Ramamani Garu in one of the hospital like Roshini Fertility, IVF specialist in Dwarka Nagar. So some of the people from Sompeta and also mental health from Bindu like nearby. So there are many other doctors like in the team. So this is our app. Just we are launching. It is already available in the Play Store. So you can download it, and you can. We already launched it. Downloaded video. Like it is a how to use the app. So we just gave a video as an introduction. You can try this app, and also just get back to me like questions whatever you have. Any questions so far?
Like it's a matter of privately collecting sensitive data.
Yeah, yes.
So is this like did you get the call complaint fast or
No.
because see your industry is like not storing any information, right? But
Yeah, yes.
releasing the phone and other apps might stealing the information. Like
Because we are not taking their numbers or names, right? So you can use it anonymously. We just know the phone from which phone it is coming, but we don't know their name.
Apps are smart. They can
because
get
I
data
developed a
from
small
you,
game.
number
My
from
industry is
someone.
not game, but stealing information from other apps which are storing or not securing in transit and all. Because it's a woman's sensitive information. Like what kind of security measures we are taking? Already we have the HIPAA compliant hospital.
Yeah, do you have an answer? Yeah, she's also one of the member from this app actually. You can take my mic. She gave voiceover in English actually, so she works as a lecturer in Gayatri College.
Good evening to the office gathering over here. I'm Dr. A. Saibala, working as assistant professor in English, Gayatri Vidya Parishad College for degree and PG courses economics. When they have come up with a wow, it really looked wow for me because it gave me a platform, a different platform from teaching to reaching the people. So, as I was doing in a course of time, as I was doing the videos, the content which has been given by the doctors, I was just delivering the content in English to reach. I came across many such questions like Palla Ravi just now he raised. It when it is the case of with women, we generally won't reveal anything so easily. And there are many social taboos when we talk about our health. May it be periods, may it be infertility, or may it be any health issue with women. So, when I was talking the same with Sushma, who is the founder of this, she expressed, uh, I'm not a techno savvy, but these days I'm learning ABC of it. Okay, so she was telling that this app won't ask any details, personal details of the person who, what do you call, enters or installs it. Okay, so that fascinated me. Like generally, laymen like lay women like me in technology, we don't generally get into all such things. Even now, when you have showed the QR scan code on the screen, as I was coming here for the first time, I was asking him whether it is safe to grab it. Okay, so being women, we always take care of ourselves. And you people are talking about data stealing, this and that. It is terrifying me, and I'm so much afraid of these things. That is the reason we women we will be using less digital transactions. Though Modi was insisting us to go for digital India, we generally would like to go by cash. Okay, and the question that one of you were asking about the safety, Sushma Kallam being a software engineer, having an experience, work experience with Google and Microsoft, she is working on it. The same doubts have been arised. I arised the same doubt, and she told about the information which we don't fill, like the personal information, which is not asked by the app. This is the first thing I understood. Oh, then it's good. It doesn't know my name. It doesn't take my number. But as someone of you were pointing out, the data can be stolen. Different kind of data can be stolen. I don't know the ways they steal, but they definitely. In one of the movies, I've seen Arjun, paying crores for the data and so on. Okay, so the same doubt when I expressed, she was telling, and Anirudh Kulakarni, both these are, I think, they are great workers. They have already worked in Google, Microsoft, and all, and now they are working out on these lines. So, as it is a budding app, and they are working on, I think we can rely on that. And Sushma being a woman, and I being a woman, I think I have launched, I have installed the app, and I'm checking it regularly, and I thought it's good. And when we talk about rural health, the first thing that came into my mind, because they asked me to deliver in English. And I said, what's the use when you're talking about rural? And then they said, ma'am, how many of your colleagues do discuss with you about certain things? You know? has a medical college too. And when Dr. Padmini from the medical college, the gynecologist came, most of the staff, women staff who were sitting in the hall, they could not come with the problems that they have. But when she asked us to come independently, we all went and spoke to them because, that privacy was provided. I think the same privacy they are going to provide. I don't know the ABC of technology, as I said, but I do teach ABC and I'm on the process of teaching this to reach the public. Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions?
How many users?
Yeah, we have around 600. Revenue, no, we are not looking for the revenue yet actually. So
Let me answer this, sir, because I also got the same doubt. I asked Sushma, what for you are doing? Then she said, శ్రీమంతుడిలో మహేష్ బాబు లాగా నేను కొంచెం ఎంతో కొంత ఇద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. Because Sushma, she had been in Kondakarla Ava. You all might be knowing about Icha Foundation, right? And I am the joint secretary for Babapu Seva Sangam. Like we all are connected like that. So during COVID period, she was there, and you all might be knowing how the pandemic had left us all alone. So there were people who were coming around Kontaklava to her place for medical advisors. So Madhu Dubnait and Sushma having connections with all the doctors, they maintain the platform and they try to reach. Yeah.
Speaker waiting for
Yes.
a very long time.
Yes.
Answer, please.
Yeah, thank you.
So let me tell you briefly. So they are working on it actually. So we are launching a course very shortly. So maybe they are looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Maybe it's a socialized president.
Yeah,
Our revenue would sustain it.
it's a secret. Even Sriram sir is working for us with us actually like in the behind. So he is connecting with some other organization to work for. So we're just reaching the public. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lokesh, being a man and bringing such a sensitive topic in front of us.
That's so insulting. Why can't men talk about sensitive issues?
That's why I thanked him, sir. Now on to our session with Dr. Suresh Beta, Additional Director and Officer in Charge Software Technology Parks of India, Vishakhapatnam, on the topic Offerings of Kalpataru, a CEO on Industry 4.0. A little briefing about his profile. Dr. Suresh Beta joined Software Technology Parks at STPI in 2006 June. After working 8 years in teaching profession as assistant professor and associate professor, he received a PhD from the Department of Computer Science and System Engineering, Andhra University, Vishakhapatnam. In STPI, he served at various locations like Hyderabad, Kakinada, Gandhinagar. Presently, he is working as Additional Director in Office Charge at STPI and holds the responsibility of promoting IT, ITES sector and startup in the region. So let's welcome him to the dais.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ravi, Ganesh, and also Alok for making me to be part of this today's session. In fact, it is a kind of typical experience to me also. Like we are also like a startup now. So even though I have a very good experience in STPI in serving the regular services of STPI, now STPI has taken a new way, okay, like to promote the startups by means of creating centers of entrepreneurship across our STPI locations. So let me give the input about our COE, which we launched recently at Visakhapatnam. So this is a COE, and we named it as a Kalpataru, a COE on Industry 4. It is specifically it is on digital transform of public PSUs using through Industry 4 technologies. So coming to STPI, it is the full form is Software Technology Parks of India, was set up in 1991 as an autonomous society under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So the main objective of STPI is to promote the IT sector from India. So way back at that time, we know how the IT was. So by means of giving the various benefits to the IT industry, so today we have seen the growth of the IT in the form of multifold. So we are giving various schemes to the IT industry like STP scheme, HTP scheme, IT Park scheme, IBPS, NUBPS, EMC. EMC is the Electronic Manufacturer Cluster Scheme on behalf of the Government of India. So these are the various services like statutory services under the FTP, data communications, EMC services, incubation services, IBPS as I mentioned, COE and NGS. So the first one is regular, that is the main backbone for the growth of the IT industry in India, like statutory services. The second one is a very essential need for the IT companies to do the software exports. So way back, if you look back, if you see in 90s, we don't have the internet services. We are the first commercial ISP in India, which we provided to by means of the satellite communication, where we help to the IT industry. So whatever the IT requests, we census it and immediately we use to provide that service to the IT industry. In the same with the incubation services, so almost since 30 years we are providing the incubation services to the IT companies because the capital investment it is difficult for the small companies to do the infrastructure, to create infrastructure. So STPA created the infrastructure at various locations. So automatically the small players, medium players, they used that facility and now they turned into a big companies. Now we are seeing, so the big companies, many big companies, they have availed the STPA incubation services. Today we are seeing them as they have their own IT SEJs. They have their own IT SEJs. So like that, the industry is going to get. So now, and also to promote the IT in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, Government of India introduced IBPS scheme. That is one more very much means attractive scheme. It went to the tier 2 cities where the employment has been created in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And this CO is that what I'm going to talk. And NGS is another scheme which is related to startups only. In a nutshell, that this is the growth rate from 100 crores in 1991 to 5 lakh crores in 2020-21. That is a growth rate of IT sector, IT exports from STPA. So this is the scheme which I mentioned like NGIS. I think how many of you heard about the Chunoti? Chunoti, yes. So Chunoti comes under the NGIS scheme only. So where we are giving, encouraging the startups through this scheme. So specifically, the under MIT, in 12 locations, this scheme has been implemented. So one of the 12 locations, Vijayawada is one of that location. So under the AP, almost 56 startups got selected under NGIS, and some startups received a fund of 1.55 crores, and 52 startups received a stipend. So we are giving the seed fund of 25 lakhs for the selected startups. Okay, so this is very much attractive scheme. Already almost Chunoti 4 is also rolling now, already rolling. Coming to the STPA COEs, like Startup India scheme when it was introduced in 2016 like that. So Government of India is giving so many benefits to the startups to promote the startup ecosystem in India. So as we are part of the MIT, so we also started this activity in the year 2020 like that. So we started our own Section 8 company by name STPA Next. So under this STP Next initiatives, okay, we already have 20 COAs in different locations in domain specific areas. So these are all the different domain specific areas like IoT, blockchain, fintech, AML, like this. These are different areas where we created the COAs in different STP centers. So the main, so if you look into the startup ecosystem, like what actually the startup requires, right from the ideation to the growth stage. So there are different aspects like we have taken into consideration, like mentoring, or it can be monitoring, or it can be providing the infrastructure or funding, okay, and assisting the services in terms of IPR. So these are all the important aspects we have taken into consideration, and we brought these stakeholders under single umbrella, so to provide these facilities to the startups from the ideation to the growth stage. So if any startup is connected to the STPA, they get all these facilities. So coming to the all India pan-India presence of COEs, so in Hyderabad we have a COE by name Image. So in the Image COE we are offering, it is a special domain specific on gaming and animation, and also artificial intelligence and AR, VR. That is on those domain specific areas, the startups works under Image COE. And coming to Chennai, as STPA Chennai Center, we have FinTech COE. We named it as a Fin Group. Okay, so there we are encouraging the startups working on the FinTech. Coming to the Bhubaneswar, we have Entrepreneur Park, and also we also have AR VR COE also. We collaborated with IIT Bhubaneswar. And in Pune, we have automotive engineering COE. So like that, in different locations across India, we have the COEs. And so altogether, we have 20 COEs. And in Visakhapatnam, that is the 21st COE, which was launched on 20th of this month, on September.
So what is it? API?
API. It is a blockchain. It is a blockchain COE at Gurugram, I think. We have that COE at Gurugram. And MedTech we have in Lucknow. Neuron we have at Mohali. Fasal is at what is it? Kohima. What? Kohima. And we have IoT Open Lab at Bangalore. And also we have a Atal Incubation COE also at Bangalore. So these are the different COEs. And in Northeast region, we have a called Octane of 8 COEs in different states of Northeast. Altogether, we have 21 COEs. And under these 20 COEs, till now, under these 20 COEs and 12 NGAs locations, altogether, we are supporting 450 startups in this. So the purpose of coming for this Saturday meetup is to give the inputs related to the industry for COE. To tell what I have briefed is a general introduction. So this is related to our industry for COE. So hope you all know, in all the other 20 locations, we have domain-specific COEs. Whereas coming to this particular COE, it is an industry 4 means it is amalgamation of all these domains. Means it requires cloud computing, it requires mobile technologies, it requires machine to machine, it requires 3D printing, advanced robotics, analytics, and also RFID technologies, cognitive 3D printing. All this together, it works in the to any organization. In order to improve the productivity of the manufacturing sectors of different public sector undertakings, so this industry 4 technologies we are using has been implementing to the problem statements given by the PSUs. So this is the structure in a nutshell that I would like to put before you. Like this COE is coming at RINL. Means it is in the Visakhapatnam steel plant. They have provided 6,000 SFT built-up space, where we are creating the complete plug and play facility, and also we are creating the labs in all the areas that what I mentioned right now, like industrial IoT. We are going to create one lab, and also we are creating drone lab, robotic lab, and also we are creating AI, ML, AR, VR labs, automation, complete automation. So somebody startup wants to work on these problem statements which are providing by the public sector undertakings. So we are providing the complete labs to support that. So the total fund allocated for this particular COE is almost like 20 crores. So different organizations like MIT, state government, RNL is also partnering with STPI, and also some of the partners apart from this we have from Snyder, Siemens, SMS Group, EOS, and IT association like ITAP, CII, and academic. From the academic front we have Andhra University, IIM Visakhapatnam. These are all the different partners who are associated with this COE. Coming to the beneficiaries, we are assuming almost we are going to support 175 startups from this COE over a period of 5 years. Physical incubation, we are planning that at least we may provide for 50, and virtual almost like 125. So this is the building. So now that is the infrastructure work is going on. So it may be completed within 2 months, and we are also plan maybe another 2 to 3 months the lab also will be placed. As I mentioned, like we already announced the problem open challenge program for this. So these are the 7 problems that was provided by RINL. So for these 7 problem statements already, it is we kept these 7 problem statements in our website, and also for all these problem statements we have given the complete description. So what actually they require, the complete input and also the output, and some videos also we have kept in the website. So the one very clear advantage with this COE is when we compare with other 20 COEs, the startup with their idea they come, okay, and they work on it. So for any startup, from ideation to the product development, there is a chance of 50% failure because it may not, the market may not need that idea. So most of the ideas may fail, almost 50% of them. So means they're not fit for the market. In this case, the problem is ready. Means 50% of the startup job is completed. Hope you understood, right? You need to work with the problem already what you have. So these are the 7 problem statements, and RNL is there to assist, to give their inputs on these problem statements also. Coming to the funding and other financial incentives, like MIT is providing 4 lakh per startup who are taking the physical space, and apart from that, for the problem statements 1 to 6, which are provided by RINL, they are going to provide the project fund. So that we see who are the startups got selected. For the selected startups, that project fund will be disbursed in 4 quarters. And also we provide the cloud credits from leading third-party service providers. And other offerings like we give the ready-to-work plug-and-play incubation, networking opportunities, as we have very strong connection from across India with big industry leaders, access to VCs, advisory services, mentoring, experts, industry network of STP and MIT Startup Hub. So these are all the mentors, like DG STPI is one of the mentors, Atul Bhatt is CMD RINL, and Shri Keshav or Mukesh is also co-chief mentor for this COE. Ramakrishna Garu is the MD of Electronics, and Sudhakar Garu, founder and CEO of Tech Mahindra. And we are roping in other mentors also. And this is general information, like anyone can apply. So the main purpose of means giving this presentation on your on this platform means, so it is very means innovative kind of COE. So try to, if you are not capable, you can also make a consortium with other startups because as it is an industry for related activity. So in the beginning, you may feel that we may not capable to attempt this particular problem statement, but there is a possibility. So if you try it, there is a chance to get the success. Okay, you can make, so somebody is having the expertise in IoT, they can form a consortium with other areas like who is having the expertise in robotics or in artificial intelligence. So they can form as a consortium and can apply for this, right? So these are the timelines. As of now, the start date was 20th September, and the application submission end date is 19th October. These are the partners, stakeholders. You may reach us. I think hope you are all having STPA information. Thank you. Try to spread this information to the startups. See, it is not to STPI. It is for AP, Andhra Pradesh. So it can change the shape of AP in terms of the startup. Because many may see, because this is a kind of first COE, almost like working with public sector undertakings. We are going to rope in NTPC, HPCL, okay, Port Trust, all public sector undertakings under single umbrella. So definitely it is a big challenge, and if we can, travel and also if we can collaborate all together, then we can turn it as a successful model, right? So we require your support also. Try to spread this news. Who are relevant to this particular area, you give the information, or otherwise you give their contacts to us. We will reach them.
So you've been in touch with APIS now?
Yeah. They are also part of this.
Right. Are you also talking to any of the colleges around engineering?
Yes. We all, I think we already gave the information about this particular COE, and recently we had one last week. I went to Hyderabad also. There we gave to the T Hub. We had a talk with the T Hub and also GMR Innovex at Shamshabad also. There we met the incubators and accelerators. We are trying from our side, as I mentioned in the beginning of my talk. It is a kind of for this activity. Again, it is a kind of startup role we are taking. Right? Thank you all. Thanks for the.
As we came to end of the session, please do make sure that you register through the QR. And thanks for another great meeting today. We would like to have your feedback to focus on coming weeks and step towards accomplishing our goals. So, any feedbacks from anyone?
Suggestions?
Suggestions, feedbacks? Okay, sure. Okay. Any more suggestions?
It's not like I came from Hyderabad from Europe, so maybe like when can we build thing like this? Because I'm from nearby this place, Vizag, so it's okay like to stay in Hyderabad and all, but when can we reach that level and what kind of support or like anything that we are looking? Because basically like I spoke to other startups also like me, so they're saying getting quality technical people here is it's very difficult. So how can you may help us in solving that? So I have an answer for this. And because I'll tell you, since 2017, I was handling NASCOM 10,000 startups, and I've given this answer to many people. They come and ask you that how can we get support? Talent,
Any of these ecosystems. T-Hub came in 2013, 2014. The IT ecosystem in Hyderabad started around 2000. It took about 14 years for an technology ecosystem to be built. A lot of people, employees came to that ecosystem, Microsofts of the world came and attracted talent. Those people evolved in their careers and then they started seeing problems. So with such experience, they stepped out and started building startups. So ecosystem was built, right? It took 14 years. It won't happen overnight. So in Vizag, we are in a very early stage. I'll tell you, take a U-turn, right? So you asked what is the support that we can get? What can we do this?
what we can do to do that because
That
so
no. Your previous question was different. I think this is the right answer,
no, not
right?
because four of my friends they want to start in Vizag. One is the blog. So they are all thinking of Bangalore or Hyderabad because they will not get the talented people.
So anybody who wants to start here, right? The question is, what is that you can do to get that start here? Don't ask anybody. Don't ask, STPI organization is there, NASCOM is there, and all these are there. If you are doing the right things, they'll give you the push. They can't be doing the heavy lifting for you. The push-up has to be done by you. They can tell you that you can do a push-up, you can do here, you can get stands and all these things. But I always thought about this, right? Like, what can we contribute to the ecosystem? For Vizag startups ecosystem, what is it that I can give first? Think about it as an empty fishbowl. You put something in, somebody else will put something in, somebody else will put in something else, and then I can take it from there, right? Because I'll tell you the reason is we've stayed here. Last time when I came to the same hall, somebody brought up this question that, what, if we want to have a startup event, meetup, we don't have a place here, and they were asking the government for it. In Bangalore, you would never get that question. They would never expect the government to give you space. A founder is a hustler. If you can't arrange a space for your meetup, then maybe you shouldn't be doing a startup also, right? So this is what I would say. We have to take a U-turn. As somebody who wants to start from Vizag, our mindset should shift, right? And then what can we give? How can we support, add value to the government also, so that in turn they can help us help them, right? So I think there is no answer for what you asked unless you start something.
It's like bringing back all of our techies back to Vizag and like some of the techies also here.
It's a long way. The question
I
is
just want
when.
to add a few things you have to understand. See, we are coming here mainly for the networking thing, not for the gyan we are about to get here. Let me very frank each other. Because everything else is more or less we can do anything YouTube or something else. Yeah. So we have to see ways where we can use the people. What happening most of the cases we are putting in like a WhatsApp group or some other channels. And most of the people here we are visiting are regular people. When I hardly see one or two people different, but most of them are regular. So unless and until we bring in that kind of difference, because unless until more people come in, there's no value addition altogether. Because if you see today, I think the session was really good. We had some people from STK also coming here and delivering some speeches here. But if you don't see the people this is not, I'm not referring to students at all. Yeah. People who are really who want to be the beneficiary of it. So unless and that is brought in whatever event you do, even if you're taking Abdul Kalam, things will remain same. Yeah. So I want to, I mean, I hope people will work on it. I mean, if I want, I can also work on it. Because if you see in Vizag, I mean, for example, in AP itself, there are almost 300 startups are formed every year, every month. I mean, I'm not saying startup companies here. So, I mean, I think we have to understand the way in reaching those people, yeah. Because we see as well, yeah, people from Andhra University are there, people from HTP is coming, directly participating. But even if people are not coming, then there's something wrong in the format itself, yeah.